Welcome, Katie. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I cannot wait to just share about your experience with the Mind Rebel Academy. Catie Clapp just graduated late last year, late 2019, as a certified Mind Rebel coach in the very first cohort of the Mind Rebel Academy, which is so near and dear to my heart. And Katie, I just want to jump on here to talk to you about your experience and to also talk about the incredible things that you're doing now with your vocation and with your life and your career. So let's start by what drew you here? What drew you to wanting to be a coach?
This is well, the whole theme of this is going to be kind of like oxymoron, like everything that I was kind of doing already, coaching my daughter's hockey teams, coaching my friends, teaching with my students, which seemed like more of and I had so many people along the way say, oh, you should be a life coach. And, what drew me, I had looked it up, but I mean, here I was coaching kids on how to pursue a career that filled their soul, and following this invisible flow of life. And just when you do work, it doesn't seem like work because you're just doing you. So here I am coaching that. And then really sitting in the space of like, why am I still searching? Like, what is this about? And why am I not then coaching myself? But it didn't come to me in that form of like a beautiful, like aha moment. It came where it was a series of, car accident, a kidney stone, oh goodness, just further health deterioration and just thinking, oh, I'm just aging and this is, and then, it was, again, someone comes into your life. In this case, it was one of my girlfriends, two girlfriends from my university. One of them was a physiology professor at Duke. And she's like, no, your body is telling you something. You just haven't found the right person to. So that was enough to kind of draw me towards the body piece. And then another girl said, well, have you considered that, your body actually has some stored trauma? And trauma was like, whoa, what do you mean? I don't have trauma. Like, I don't have trauma.
No, none of us have trauma.
And then it was, telling, well, I guess I have this, I guess I have a sexual assault from when I was 14. And then she's like, well, who have you told? And I was like, you.
Right.
You're my first. And she's like, Katie. And I was like, but you know what? I got my degree and I got a great job and I got married and I have 4 wonderful kids. And like, who am I to? And so then the body shuts down and now I figure I've got to now sit with this. And it was like, ooh, I was the busiest person on earth. I was performer, producer, 3 jobs, Excel, like 100% all. And so to lie in my bed and I had to wait for some of the surgery, it was pretty dark. It was pretty dark. And boom, I don't know how I found Miss Taryn Watts, but it must have been in my searching of click, click, clicking, click, 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 and into my inbox Monday morning is a Monday morning pep talk. And I'm like, oh, I could use a pep talk. Hey, give me a coach, And I read it and I was like, oh, like she wrote this for me. This was for me to see like right now. And then it became every Monday. And as I work through, I know people say therapy, they've had a bad rap or something, but again, if you are still searching, you will find. And I found the most beautiful form of therapy. And it was getting into places that I was like, did not want to go. And all along, they say it shows up once, it shows up twice, it shows up. And it was like, you showed up in my daughter's hockey team to coach her. And I was like, okay, I got to go meet this woman that I'm reading. I feel like I already know her. So it's just going to be like, hi.
And it was, right? It's like, oh.
And then I went on and I saw you do this and I'm like, this is a yes. I had looked up all these coaching things. I was like, oh. And then this, I knew in my body now. I knew in my body that this was a yes. And, things come in of like, oh, my marriage is in jeopardy right now. oh, I don't know what my money situation looks like. Oh, but there was a hell yes.
Yeah.
And it was finding you. And I know the Mind Rebel Academy and and the Mind Rebel and all of this sort of piece. It was just like, here again, oxymoron was this person who spent all of their
Mm.
time in their head, and now I'm signing up for a mind. Like, that was even
Right.
an oxymoron for me, right? Like, I'm like,
Totally.
but I'm like, I'm just gonna trust like this. And then I got in and I was like, oh, because you see, the oxymoron comes from me as people would have said I was very vulnerable, that I put it out there, and I, they would have felt that all along. But I had this piece of
Mhm.
fake vulnerability, and I would never have called it fake because I was in so much denial, to the point of overshare, to the point of putting so much onto you of, oh, this is, if I share this will, and then I can help you. But it was just like an off, like a piece that just I didn't get until I got into this space, this beautiful space. And I think people again think, how do you create this sort of space in a virtual place? And I'm like, oh, you do, because you just stepped into a whole bunch of yous.
Yeah.
I just have a whole bunch of mirrors looking at me, speaking to me, and their story, although it's different, isn't different.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize, I mean, I knew I was lonely in my intimate relationship. I didn't feel lonely in my friends, I felt like, but I was lonely in my soul community,
Mm.
because I hadn't been with my soul. It was separate from me. And so when I came into this group and found this Mind Rebel Academy with this Mind Rebel coaching with these people, I was like, oh, this is home. Like, this is what I was like, this is what I was missing. This. And yeah, I don't know if that answers your question. I don't have words. I have more of like a, ah, this, I know this feeling.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Katie, what was what was was there a turning point for you, or like a moment in the program or in our learning and the teaching that just was like this aha moment for you, or where things really started to shift and change? Can you recall?
I
Yeah.
have a little one. Again, you
Yeah.
talk about little teachers. I had a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
one, whereas I stepped in here with this kind of know-it-all. I'm like, I've been through like therapy. I've been through this. I've been through like, what
Right.
is this? And then I was like, oh, I don't have it figured out. Like,
Yeah.
and really, I mean, there's Maria as a Forleo that says everything is figure outable, right? And stuff. And I
Yeah.
like that. But then I'm like, also, if you think you've got it figured out, like, whoa, like, you don't.
It's like every time you think you've got it figured out, there's a new layer waiting to be peeled back, right? Like there's a new journey ready to be embarked on.
100%. And
Yeah.
so then a big one came. A big one came that as I was sitting, like, how do I even put this into words of like, because I do feel, if you are a performer or producer, if you are like a get shit done, you are like this powerhouse woman, which is what I was, then the end goal, I need to get not the 100%, I need to get the 110%. Like, I want all of that. And that drive for wanting was for me a drive to be that 10% of the population that lives an awakened life, that
Mm.
lives this Dalai Lama, like this Buddha, like this life of just flow, of
Mm-hmm.
in, out. And I was not going to get it the way I had been going at my life.
Yeah.
I had to blow that shit up. Like really. And that scares, I know, so many people,
Yeah.
because it's like when you've got a job, you've got a mortgage, you got a career, like, to go leave that and start again, or to hit a rock bottom, to be like full out, like exposed, like so raw, and like a hole.
Yeah.
that's scary. And I don't know how to explain to people that there is so much freedom, so much space that gets cleared out of the way, that this way of pushing and wanting and grasping, you have to go to the fuck, surrender, allow, and we don't know how to do that. We don't know how to do that, but we do. Like, that's the biggest thing, is like, we do. I didn't listen. Didn't listen. I had every form of resistance and denial. And now I'm like, that's all I want, but I don't want it. Like, that contraction that comes in, it's like, oh, and yet I know now that if I don't have those, then I'm not growing. I'm not taking another layer off, and I'm not like stepping into that 10% that I know.
Yeah.
That's there, that's actually there. So it's like good enough, but still searching, like this push pull of just, but then I know that the push pull is like the waves in the ocean. And we're all the ocean.
Yeah.
And so we're all on this journey, and I can see me in every single person more and more.
I think what I think is so extraordinary about the kind of women that the Mind Rebel Academy like calls in are women like you who are so committed to your growth, like so committed to doing the internal work and to looking within and to peeling back layers and to not settle.
Oh, yeah. But it's this scared too. Like, you're
Totally.
so
Totally.
scared.
It's
It's
not
like,
easy.
oh, it's so scary.
Yeah.
And yet it's like so beautiful. This is like oxymoron of just like this. And that is not describable in words. It's describable in felt. I mean, you played that song last week, and it's like,
It's just such a beautiful I know.
most beautiful moments are felt. They are felt. And this body is scary for people, right? And you have to go there to connect the mind to the body, to the soul that is all one. Like, it's all one. And so it's an integration of all those parts, and parts to the whole. But you're already whole, I guess is what I'm saying. It's already there. It's just, you need to get them like all talking together and seeing each other and hearing each other and showing up like in that place, and knowing when you don't show up in that place, it's okay. This part's off and this part's like, I'm burning nirvana in my incense of like, oh, and then my candle is hot mess. I'm both.
I'm both, exactly. And that is self-love, right?
Yeah.
So Katie, tell us what you're up to now as a graduated coach, and all the other modalities that you found along the way last year and that you've actually integrated into your practice. Tell us what you're up to with these skills that you've learned in 2019 and beyond.
Well, it's another oxymoron here, because when people, would describe me, it was always in a word: busy. She's busy. Like, I don't know how she does it all. She's just so busy. And it was almost like I didn't realize, but I was kind of wearing it as this badge of honor. Like, it's this whole idea of this mask and that once that all came down, and once everything, like, knowing that busy is like, I will not want that on my gravestone. I will not want to leave this earth going, oh, she was a busy woman, And so once I was like, it's also not an emotion, because if it's emotion, it's exhausting is what it is. So what I what I want to do is work with other women. That's a kind of pull towards me, is work for other women who use busy as a, it's a layer of suffering.
Yeah.
It's a numbing. It's an addiction. Like, let's call it what it is. It's a not being present. Get those same hits of dopamine, that are a fake kind of feel good, because then I don't have to feel. So my program that I've launched with Kaylee, one of your other beautiful soul sisters, is Get Busy Being, which is one breath at a time. So it's really, right now we've got it set up as a program where we go through the 8 weeks, and it's we have a 6 week, we have an 8 week, kind of just deciding of where people are kind of at in their place. But really, it's through air, it's through breath. So it's acknowledging what's coming in, investigating, integrating, which is going into the body, really doing some body work to then be able to reflect and sit in it. So it's using all of the Mind Rebel Academy piece of like uncovering who's your mind rebel and getting to your authentic self, and a lot of the boundary stuff we do, like a lot of that, like Mind Rebel, but then just taking it to a real busy focus of people who can't land in their body and implementing that. So it's almost like an integration piece of, okay, I was always a hands-on. I needed to actually do it before I felt it, or felt confident in it. And so launch that. And like, again, we have attracted the most beautiful mirrors that we're walking alongside them with, and then I have launched things now that are truly authentic to me. And I have 2 little boys right now, 10 and 12, who struggle with the mind, the inner game of lack of confidence, of lack of self. And so I've launched a 4-week program where I've brought in men. One of my areas of genius is a connector. And so I've brought in like 4 like amazing men, who are going to, because I do believe it needs to be delivered by a man, and then I can integrate. So just how you become self-aware, how you redefine strong, and courage, and knowing that you can put yourself into a race and be dead last. That's courage. That's strong, right? And then also just failure, and what that, like redefining what failure is, or hardship, and those struggles. So that I've launched for my boys. It starts on Monday. I also, breath work is like, so Kaylee and I are co-creating a breath work training. We want to be able to train coaches. I have 20 years of teaching background. So I want to be able to train coaches to be able to take it to the next layer of really feeling good, and being able to coach people to get into their bodies more. But also a breathwork training for other people. I come from a place, and when I say trauma, I'm trauma informed, but that doesn't have to be your story. Stop telling your story. Stop going to that place that allows you to connect with that part of your story. And so from that aspect, I believe everyone has the capacity to heal themselves, but we need others. We're human beings. We're wired for connection. So connecting, and even if you have done your coaching, like, you are going to need further development, support.
Absolutely. It doesn't end there.
It doesn't end. So I want to be able to like really keep like pushing myself along selfishly, but not self-fully, to be able to do that, to grow myself, to then also help other people continue to grow. And so it's like I'm doing things now. So that sounds really busy, right? That sounds busy. The difference here is that I align my breath work at the time that is going to be led from a place where that's when I want to show up and do it, to start your day, to take off some layers and feel more free going into your, and it's Sunday soul. I'm redefining Sundays for me. Religion, what that was. I loved religion, the one that I did with my parents, not the God part, because that didn't resonate. I couldn't figure that out, but the community space of like, so really, a part of my journey of taking God back into my life and redefining again that unlearning piece of some of what I thought it was.
Yeah.
is now. So the busyness piece is like, oh, it's from a place of I'm full to be able to.
Wow,
And
Catie.
I know. I'm
It's
just so,
just like, it's absolutely extraordinary. It's like from when I met you, it's been over a year now, obviously, but a little over a year ago, you are a different woman.
mm,
You have found yourself and stepped in fully, and look at the impact and the
mm.
change that you are making already in so many people's lives.
And that was a big piece. I'm going to tell you about the boundary piece. Is I actually felt like I had pretty good boundaries, right? But I didn't realize what I was doing for others was not allowing them to be whole and capable and creative and
Yeah.
resourceful on their own. So as I healed that part of me, my kids started to heal on their own,
Mhm.
not with, um, I have to believe that my partner, my ex, friends, and like I said, it's been this beautiful, like, in and out of like oxymoron, like, oh, but letting go,
Yeah.
maybe our relationship served what it needed to do in
Right.
order for me to. So yeah, I just
Oh,
I can access these emotions too. Like, I mean, I can access, like I said, this beautiful, like, oh, I've got so much excitement that I'm like, oh, what's that? Like, I'm
right.
scared, excited,
And that's the
um
sweet spot, though, right? And I think that's the difference is, like, we now lean into that, the discomfort and the excitement. It's like that's almost our compass saying, "Oh, we're onto something here. Like, this is what we need to lean into." It feels uncomfortable, but there's a part of us that is just, "Oh, this is right."
because there's the knowing, like there's so much water side in me that I know that ocean, the wave comes in,
Yeah,
it's gonna go back out.
yeah,
It's
definitely.
coming in.
Yeah,
It's going to come back. And so I think of that now and that's really what the Dalai Lama and like Buddha
yeah.
is like, is you move
Oh,
in and out of that flow
yeah,
in a place of,
yeah.
you know,
Like a breath. Yeah,
like a breath.
right.
Exactly. It is.
So, Catie, anyone who's watching this who has been on the fence about, do I become a coach? Is this profession really for me? Do I join the Mind Rebel Academy? What words of advice or would you give, or who is this really for?
Mm. Oh, well, of course I would have in my older self said, just fucking do it. Like I would have said that, right? I'm like, just do it, But really what I say is sit when you like, first of all, get on the discovery call, like meet you, like just meet you. And then when you're done the call, if it's not a hell yes right there, that's okay. But
Agreed.
I
Yeah.
want you to sit with what is it? What is
Mm,
it that's coming up for you? Like really dig into that, because that is your answer typically
mm,
to do it. But so stillness, I'm good with the stillness. I'm good with the take the time, but don't take the time and sit just completely in that fear-based mode of not going
right.
through that fear to figure out what that fear is. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? And your answer lies there, which is get yourself in. And maybe, I mean, Taryn, when you do it, I think that's the most authentic piece is you're not going to sell this program to someone who's not going to come to the water and not drink it.
Mm,
Right? If they're standing way back there and they come that, like, I mean, so I think that's why I say get on it and meet Taryn, like meet
mm,
you. This universal, I call this universal flow of love,
mm.
which is energy, which is everything. It has to be a give take, a receive, where you are going to get as much from Taryn as she is going to get from you. And that place is so beautiful. So get to what's holding you back. get to what's holding you back, but then be scared and just do it anyways.
I love
I'd
that.
say.
That's probably the most beautiful response I've ever received with that question. That's beautiful. Catie, thank you so much for your time, your vulnerability here, your honesty, your heart, your soul. You showed us all. And again, I am so grateful to have been through 2019 with you in the cohort. And not just that, but to sit back now and watch you soar in the way that you're soaring in partnership with some of the women in the cohort, and seeing all of the change and the impact you are making in the world. Like, my heart explodes. It's just an
Mine
honor.
is too. Mine
Yeah.
is too. Like, it is like such an honor. I feel so like full, Taryn, and I am so grateful.
Me too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Catie.